What if midlife wasn't the beginning of the end, but the moment you finally came alive? My guest today, Tina Coleman, embodies that transformation. After losing amazingly 90 pounds naturally through Ayurveda, yoga, and mindful living, she didn't just transform, she reinvented her entire life. And we're going to go through that story today. That's the journey that has been of resilience and reinvention. It isn't only about weight loss journey, and we'll just find out in a minute. She's walked through menopause and embraced grief and things like that, and she started abroad. So, all of it in this podcast about powerful breakthroughs, about choosing adventure over fear and vitality, and finding out the amazing weight loss journey as well along the way. So, welcome to Luxury Unplugged Podcast, where we explore the art of living inside and out. And today, Tina is reminding us that the weight loss journey is never about pounds on a scale. Welcome, Tina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So nice to have you, Tina. So as we explore your weight loss journey, the amazing aspect, first of all, is that congratulations on such an amazing weight loss that you've achieved. 90 pounds is humongous. How did you go about it, and what was the motivation behind it?
The motivation was really because I was going to be turning 50 in a few years, and I know it's so important at that midlife point to really step into who you are. Because I was carrying extra weight on my body, it affected my joints, how I felt, and then also you lose elasticity in your skin. So that was really the motivation. And weight loss is something I'd struggled with through my whole life. So it had always been a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Until I started yoga teacher training and I found out about Ayurvedic medicine. And I literally opened up a book, read about kapha, and I was like, oh my goodness, that could be my picture. And that really just transformed my life, making simple changes in my life and then working with an Ayurvedic practitioner.
Lovely, lovely. So, when you talk about this weight loss journey, it also embodies identity shift, because everybody
Yes.
goes through that whenever they are trying to lose weight or things like that. So, what changed on the inside that the scale couldn't measure for you?
Learning to love myself and really appreciate who I was because I'm a Virgo and we tend to be really hard on ourselves and everybody else. And I felt like I was just kind of like pushing myself my whole life until I finally realized who I was, what I wanted in my life, and really appreciating my body no matter what the size I am. Like, I am still a beautiful person. And that made a huge, huge difference in my life.
So, do you think that your emotions sort of were in the way on your weight, being excess of what you wanted?
Absolutely. How we feel about ourselves, our lives, our world, it makes a huge difference. Uh, because our bodies are cells, they absorb everything, all of our thoughts, emotions, experiences, they get trapped in our cells. So being able to love yourself and radiate that instead makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, you also talk about EFT tapping, you talk
Mhm.
about Ayurveda, and you talk about having a mindful living. Tell us something about that.
Okay, yes, I actually love EFT, which is emotional freedom tapping. Technique also known as tapping. I was introduced to it years ago and I'm like, this isn't going to work. This doesn't do anything. And I have actually taken several courses on it, and that helps with my weight loss transformation as well. It also helps with traveling, emotions, uh, pain, stress. It helps with everything. And I was literally just doing it before our interview.
Beautiful. And isn't that very good to really calm down your nerves, like you just mentioned before the interview you were doing it? It is a
Yes,
beautiful technique which is perhaps very instant, right? You
it
just calms you
is.
down.
Yes, and what it does is actually you're tapping on acupressure points in your body. So it can be this, and you're getting out the negative statements first and then going through with positive statements. And if you're in public and you don't want to be doing this, you can literally just tap your thumb and index finger together, like under the table. You can go to the bathroom and do it. You can do this while you're traveling. It helps to calm down your nervous system. So then you can think clearly, because when our nervous system is going, blah, we can't think or react or respond effectively. So calming that down makes a huge difference in being able to not only function on a day-to-day basis, but really transform your life.
Right, right. So tell us, you have mentioned that you have written a book. Congratulations on that. Tell us about your book and why do you feel that women should understand that weight loss has nothing to do with diets or quick fixes?
It's a lifestyle and thought process transformation. My book is to inspire women turning 50 to travel and live their best life because so many people in so many cultures think that, oh, 50 is the end, you're washed up, you're over the hill, you don't have any value, you're not sexy. If you have gray hair, you're definitely not sexy. And I'm like, that's not true. I'm the perfect embodiment of this. I'm like, my hair grayed very early. Like women in my family grayed really early. And I fought against it for a while, but I really learned to embrace it. And when you can embrace more of who you are authentically and love who you are, you can make huge transformations in your life. And my book was inspired because I was terrified of turning 50. I was 46. I was terrified of turning 50. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I'm like, I feel really good now. It's going to happen in a few years. And so I wanted to turn that fear into empowerment and inspire not only myself, but other women when they're turning 50 to travel, live their best lives. It's not the ending, it's just the beginning.
Well, it is a beautiful thought, and you are somebody who's embodying it, who's living it. Tell us something as a nugget, as a wisdom nugget from your end, for our viewers. Like, how can women really embrace their age, A, and then how
Mhm.
can they really go through the many menopausal impact during this time frame and still strive to be healthy and vibrant and really enjoying life?
Well, age is just a number, and if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. There's that old saying.
I agree to that.
It's a very old saying. And it's like, I know how old, I know my physical age, but I don't feel that. I feel alive and vibrant and young. And
Hmm.
really, it's your state of mind that matters because if you think you're old, you're going to feel old. You're going to feel all the aches and pains and everything that's going on in your body because your body does change as you go into perimenopause and menopause. I call it adult puberty because just like when you were 13, 14, going through puberty and having all these hormones and everything going on, that's what you experience during perimenopause and menopause. And obviously, it's different for every woman. It affects us all very differently. And a lot of the symptoms women haven't even been aware of. So I'm so glad that so many people are talking about this today. So then you don't think, oh, well, I'm just having anxiety or I'm having depression. Or for me, I was having fillings falling out. And I'm like, how is this happening? Or frozen shoulders or not being able to sleep, hot flashes, things like that. And through diet, exercise, yoga, there's some amazing yoga poses and also natural remedies. You can move through it a much, much smoother scale than women have before because we're actually having great conversations about it.
Right, right. So we've talked about, body confidence and I love the word that you said about adult puberty because it is actually adult puberty. We go through similar
It
kind of
is.
emotions, triggers, irritations, palpitations, God knows what all.
Yes.
But then, yeah, it's aging is natural and we should accept it, as a way of life and just take it as a number, right?
We should. However, most of us don't. And whatever you want to do, like if you want to get Botox, if you want to get something lifted and tucked, whatever you want to do, as long as you're doing it for you and it makes you feel good in your body, that's really your choice. Because so many women do, and there is no shame in that, as long as you're doing it for you instead of for outward approval. Because when you start doing those things, then it doesn't really work. It doesn't make you feel better. Only
Right.
fixing on what's on the inside can actually help you to feel better. But yeah, it's like being 50 at this time is so amazing. And I actually just turned 53 last week. So I'm excited about being in my 50s, being in my 60s. And I know women in my 70s that are just amazing. So it's
Hmm.
just going to get better and better.
Right, absolutely. So now, I would want you to take us through like a little bit of deeper understanding. Like, how does EFT can perhaps help me or somebody else lose weight? How do I get my emotions in control, and how does that impact my weight, the way I think
Doing
about it?
doing EFT consistently, it will definitely help even doing it like 10 minutes, like here and there. But if you do it consistently, like 10 minutes in the morning or 20 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening, doing it more consistently helps to lower your cortisol level. So your
Uh-huh.
cortisol level is your stress hormone. And
Of
that is
course.
one of the reasons why we retain and hold on to weight. So,
Right.
when you're able to reset and rebalance your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, your body is able to let go of the stress and tension and the fight or flight
Mhm.
symptoms and be able to calm that down. So you're like, okay, I can breathe. Like I feel okay. Stress is a major symptom of weight gain. So being
True.
able to tap and just do this, believe it or not, it really does help. It helps with weight gain. It helps with finances. It helps with stress levels, headaches, colds, flus. It helps with everything. It's your body's own system to help you
Right.
rejuvenate because it's working the acupressure points in your body and the meridians of your body.
Right. And when we take care of cortisol, and a lot of studies have showcased that cortisol is the reason behind the weight gain. So
Mhm.
that naturally helps. So that's beautiful. You also talk about reclaiming sensuality, even in 40s and onwards. So tell us about your book. Tell us about your life so far, and
Okay.
what triggered you to write about it.
Okay, great. Well, my book does talk about a lot of different things, and it definitely does touch on sensuality
Hmm.
because it's so important for us. And I have taken different courses on this topic as well.
Hmm.
Can I say the name of the book, or are we
Yeah,
waiting
of
for
course.
that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. The book is called 50 Fabulous and Fuckable. And the reason why I know, and the reason I call it, the reason that it came to me, it's just the title came to me, the book came to me, so I believe it's divinely inspired. But the reason I call it's called fuckable is because it's not about sex. It's more about owning your power, stepping into your confidence, stepping into your strength, feeling really good in your body. That's really what it's about. And also, as
Hmm.
women, you know, people in general do not get enough touch. We do not get enough touch. We don't get enough hugs. We just don't. So as women, one of the things that we can do is learning how to care for your body and pleasure yourself. Because when you're able to do that, you actually release endorphins in the body. You feel good. You know, you can have your own orgasm. You can do those things for yourself. So that is going to light you up. It's going to make you feel better. You can lose weight through that as well. And it's really a wonderful gift that we have, and a lot of women aren't comfortable enjoying themselves by themselves. So, but even just lightly touching your arms, your face, your body, touch is touch. It doesn't matter if somebody else is touching you or if you are touching yourself. Your body does not know the difference. So you will get that feel good sensation just by doing this to yourself. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of times we don't touch our face unless we're washing it. And it's just
Right.
such a wonderful part. It's our identity, it's who we are. So just learning to love on yourself is so important. And I talk about that in my book. I also talk about some experiences that I've had through transformation. I did a tantric massage when I was in Mexico, and it was just an amazing experience. The woman knew exactly what she was doing. She really looked at it as being a spiritual experience. And so it really helped to release a lot of stress and trauma that I was holding on to. So yeah, there's different ways that you can go about reuniting with yourself, reconnecting with yourself, and learning to pleasure yourself. Because
Right.
you know what, guys do it all the time. You know,
Mhm.
guys do it all the time. We don't. We tend to be a little more reserved. So being able to really be sensual with yourself and do things that make you feel good are important. Even wearing sexy lingerie underneath your clothes can give you like that extra little oomph. Instead of saving it for somebody else, use it for yourself.
Right. So your book and your storyline and your coaching perhaps is about living and loving yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Living
Yes.
gracefully and loving
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
And when you talk about reclaiming joy, play, freedom, after 50s, what is
Mhm.
the driving factor for you? Can we dive a little
Mhm.
bit only? Can we dip into your story, like what has driven you from, doing this massive shift? So from where
Okay.
to where are we looking at?
Well, as they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. So
Mm-hmm.
my career actually as a massage therapist of 20 years ended because I was in a car accident. I was rear-ended by an 89-year-old lady at a stoplight. And I was very angry about this for years. I was holding on to all this stress and pain, and they really couldn't figure out how to help me or what was wrong with me besides going and having a very invasive surgery. So that ended my career. And I just had this moment where I was like, you know what? I'm going to move to Mexico because I'd been going down to Mexico for dental work. And I knew I really enjoyed being there because I couldn't quite get my life to work in the States. And I was like, I was miserable. I was unhappy. I was like, I'm going to just like go for it. And I knew I wanted to live internationally. I knew that was something that was really important for me. And so when I made that decision, everything just started falling into place for me. It just started shifting and changing. And I spent 2.5 months traveling Mexico by myself to find my spot. And ironically, where I first moved to was a clothing optional beach in on the coast of Oaxaca, the Pacific
Yeah.
Ocean in Zipolite, Mexico.
Okay.
So I would actually take my dogs down to the beach wrapped in a sarong. I lived 2 blocks from the beach, and I would walk naked on the beach in the morning and the evening with my dogs. And it was just such a freeing experience to be in nature and to be connected on such a deep level. Because I didn't have children. And it was just not part of my plan, unfortunately. And so I just had my dogs in my house, and I was like, I'm going to Mexico. I'm not putting anybody through college. I don't have any other obligations. It's just me and my dogs. So I
Yeah.
took them down to Mexico and rented out my house. And that was the start of my journey. And it was scary, but it was so important for me to take that leap of faith and do that. And
Hmm.
I absolutely love other cultures, and it really just lights me up. Like I will never be afraid of getting Alzheimer's because I'm using my mind in different ways every day.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So how can women really shift their mindset when, they are in the midlife and see it as an act of possibility? You have
Yes.
done that. You have done that out of faith, maybe out of whatever your inner aspects of yourself is concerned. You could do that. But what advice do you have as the last question for people who are watching you, for women who are watching you, if they want to have that second, feeling of liberation and living a good life from uh, possibility?
You have to let go of the old stories. You have to let go of those old hurts, that old pain. You have to forgive yourself and other people, because holding on to everything, you are carrying that weight energetically with you, and it weighs you down. It makes you old, and it creates resentment in your body and in your life. And I saw this in my mother. My mother continually held on to the past, to hurts, and did not move forward in her life. And unfortunately, she passed early at 58. And that was something else that really got my attention. I lost a lot of people in my family very quickly. So I knew that things could change in an instant in your life. And we're not guaranteed to live till 90. We're not guaranteed that. And we're not guaranteed to have good health. So for me, realizing what was important and being willing to make those changes. So letting go of the old stories, the hurts, things that are holding us back, or the things that, oh, well, I can't do that because I'm a woman. I can't travel by myself because I'm a woman, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the resources. Whenever you're saying, I can't do this, I don't have this, you're putting up these walls rather than being curious about it and being like, oh, well, I really want to go to Europe. How can I make that happen? how can this how can this happen for me? And the first time I traveled internationally, I thought this might be the only time I go to Italy. So I went for 3 weeks. And as a massage therapist, you are not paid for that. So I took a leap of faith and like, I want to do this. And now I've been to Italy 3 times. I've been to over 10 countries, 10 islands. I love traveling. It lights me up. It makes me who I
So
am.
I'm getting a hint of miracles over here. Is that true for you? When you said that you were a massage therapist and you had
Yeah.
no,
No,
stable net of
no,
income, so
no.
how did you manage to go to Italy? What was the miracle that happened for you, in spite of everything? Like,
I believe that I could do it. And actually, I found an old journal from my 20s that I was like, I want to go to Italy, I want to go to Rome and to Egypt. Those were my three big ones. And I was like, I'm turning 45. If I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? Because we
mhm.
have all the excuses as to why we can't do things. I'm too old. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I have children. We have those excuses. And so sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and instead of being like, I can't do this, see, like, how can I do this? So for me, I just started Googling flights and seeing like what it was. Because in the States, we're told that traveling is so expensive, it's dangerous, you can't do that. Most people don't have passports. So luckily I got a passport, but I just started Googling flights and I realized it was cheaper to fly out of New York than Dallas to go to Europe. And it was cheaper to fly into Barcelona than to Rome. So I did that. You kind of make it work. And I bootstrapped it. I did couch surfing. I did hostels. I was not spending a lot of money. I was, either cooking for myself or, eating at delis. I was not spending a lot of money in my travels. And it was the most life-changing experience I've had. It is really what opened the doors for me to do it. So if there is a will, there's a way, especially if you're a woman. We are resourceful, creative creatures. If there is something we really want, we can make it happen. I guarantee that. We will do whatever it takes when we really want something. If you don't want it, then you will find an excuse.
Wow, that's beautiful. And actually, so about each and every woman, we are creative sources.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we produce life. We can do anything,
Yeah.
like you have to like really lock into like who you are and what you want. So many times we're told by everybody else that we can't do something, we can't have it. You can't travel by yourself as a woman. People have called me brave for traveling by myself. And I'm like, I don't feel brave. I just know if I don't do it by myself, if I wait on other people, I'm going to keep waiting and I would never have gone anywhere. So sometimes you got to take that leap of faith, believe in yourself, bet on yourself, and be like, I am doing this.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tina, for this burst of positivity and energy and radiance and your beautiful book. Congratulations on that once
Thank you.
again. And today. And this is for our viewers. Hopefully, you have not only enjoyed this episode in terms of the bits of adventure and expression of knowledge and vitality we've shared. I hope you also got to understand that these breakdowns also are the result and they cause powerful breakthroughs. So you are able to choose adventure over fear, and then you get your vitality because you've crossed over your limitations. So keep tuning in for more such episodes. This is Luxury Unplugged Podcast. Keep coming back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.